Aloha, friends and family, and welcome back to the reading of Our Cosmic Origin. This war lasted for approximately 2,000 years, and that is the reason why the flood story has been echoed through all ancient records, including the Sumerian tablets that predate the Bible. In mythology, it was known as the Wars of the Olden Gods, the children of Anu. However, this was just the beginning of another battle that would last for another 8,000 years. The celestial beings, gods, angels, ETs, were only part of it for another 3,000 years, as we will see. As their war was transferred over to the evolving organic humans when the gods, angels, and ETs decided to leave the scene. The only beings that survived the deluge were the celestial beings who fled in the nick of time in their ships or flying boats, and of course the celestial beings that went back into the underground of Agartha and Shambhala. As for the evolving, ascending Homo sapiens, they were all destroyed because they were being used as war pawns and had been totally corrupt, with the exception of one evolving, ascending human family that survived the deluge, and that was Zisudra or Utnapishtim, commonly known as our biblical Noah. This line would continue the ascending Adamic organic vehicle for the eventual incarnation of more celestial beings into the third dimensional organic mortal bodies to once again bring the great divine plan to the earth of integrating spirit and matter. Noah, Zisudra, Utnapishtim, whatever you want to call him, depending on which ancient manuscript you read, was a direct descendant of Enoch, who again carried in his direct bloodline the highest concentration of the 12 living energies. In the Sumerian text, he was known as Utnapishtim. In Vedic lore, he was Zisudra, and to the Western world, he was known as Noah. Collectively gathered from all accounts, we know that the deluge transpired approximately 6,000 years ago. Noah, as a direct descendant of Enoch, was chosen to preserve the evolving human lineage as it was mandatory, or we would not be ready for completion today in the fullness of time. As the story goes, and in the aftermath of the deluge, Horus defeated his uncle, Set, Marduk, Baal, Satan, and restored the commonwealth of righteousness in Egypt, modeled after the principles of the Order of Melchizedek. So, the benevolent celestials, gods, angels, ETs, continued their rule in Egypt under the guise of the Neteru. Horus and his mother Isis watched, overeducated, and protected the evolving human family who was once again populating through the line of Noah, Anapishtim, Zisudra. The attempt to restore heaven on earth was once again being carried out by Egypt under the rule of the children of the one God of light that later translated as Ra, or Aton El Leon, the God of the early Hebrews. And they say it is El Leon sometimes. This peaceful era, of course, lasted about 1,000 years, and the time being, however, of which the evolving humans through the line of Shem and Japheth were evolving according to the knowledge of spiritual ways of Lemuria and Lyra. As a result of their righteous living, the descending celestial beings of Nibiru were now ready to bestow upon evolving mankind their own right to rule. So for the first time in our Earth's history, the Anunnakis Nephilim, Watchers, Naturu, angelic celestial beings, whatever you would like to call them, decided to lower the right of rulership of the earth to the evolving humans. Of course, we also must remember that even our Pleiadian Nibirian parents, who initially took matters into their own hands regarding the affairs of our world, eventually began to operate under the orders of the Confederation of Councils and the planetary spiritual hierarchy. So we may also say that the time of Nibiru's direct influence on us had come to a close when the Nibirians finally lowered kinship to third-dimensional organic man as a directive given to them by the higher beings of the Galactic Council, who have been and still are, to this day, overseeing the entire Earth expedition. For the record, let it be known that the Earth up until the 4th century BC was ruled by the celestial humanoids / gods, Nibirian celestial beings, until around the time of 3700 BC. There are a few accounts that confirm this to be accurate. Among the accounts is the restored Nibirian Council, as well as Zechariah's astonishing work on the Earth Chronicles series, both agreeing that mankind was given control of the planet by those that came from heaven to earth, the B'nai Elohim, or sons of God. According to the restored Nibirian Council, the first human ruler was recorded to be Alium, who was also reported to be the grandfather of Terah, the father of Abram or Abraham, our biblical patriarch. Whoever he was, he had to be of the direct lineage of Noah, Utnapishtim Sesudra, perhaps through the line of Shem, Noah's most righteous son. Whatever the case may be, this was the beginning of the new era, once again, for the evolving, ascending human race. They were now ready to govern themselves, of course, with the help of the celestial beings, gods / angels, who, even though were not around anymore, were still assisting evolving man from the unseen higher dimensions. Since Alium of Ur was the first human king, according to the restored records, and since our biblical Abraham was from his direct line, then that explains why Abram or Abraham was chosen to be our evolving, ascending human patriarch for the God Most High. This tells us that Abraham was of the direct bloodline of the galactic royal house of Avon, the seed of Lord Michael, who through his lineage, the divine seed of descending celestial sons and daughters of light, may continue to incarnate, especially Jesus and Mary Magdalene, who we know was of this direct line as well. In our world, Abraham's lineage became the highest carriers of celestial genetics, at least the highest concentration of it, which meant that they carried the highest interaction of the 12 living energies out of the rest of our human family. Although it was evident after the flood, all evolving humans were carriers of the 12 energy centers to a degree, with the exception of the lineage of the abomination that resorted to the infusion of restoring reptilian DNA as established through the seed of our biblical Ham. For the record, today it has been discovered that all humans have 12 chakras and 12 strands of DNA, indicating that we all have inherited the 12 energy centers of our descending celestial parents. According to the esoteric tradition, the 5 chakras outside our bodies, plus our 7 chakras inside our body, allows for the full flow of Kundalini energy, making one capable of using more than 4% of their total mental and DNA capacity. As mentioned, those that carried the highest concentrations of these 12 energies established the bloodline that gave us the ancient house of Israel. The seed of Israel was given the divine right to rule only as they established a type of covenant with the higher evolution, or angelic celestial kingdom, who wanted overall to see their fellow evolving ascending humans reach celestial status again. This pact was established as Program Israel, which later became the Sacred Covenant, or Program Zion, between mankind and God, the highest, through Lord Melchizedek and Abraham. This divine human contract was established for the sole purpose of uniting heaven and earth and bringing to pass the immortality of all evolving mankind. Melchizedek was no other than the first incarnating Ancient of Days, known in the East as Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world and head of the planetary spiritual council, who operates from the 5th dimension and up, and he could have also overshadowed the ascended Master Shem, the son of Noah, who was Abraham's great-grandfather. In fact, the entire spiritual hierarchy of descending celestial humanoids and ascended earthlings that operate and influenced our world from the higher dimensional densities have been known to overshadow all the prophets and spiritual teachers throughout all history. In this case, the ascended Master Shem could have been overshadowed by the descending Lord Kumara, Melchizedek. Overall, it is important to understand the level of influence that the higher dimensions have on the lower dimensions. As mentioned earlier, everything that happens in the higher levels of existence eventually manifests in the lower levels as well. As above, so below. So it is obvious that even though the Anunnaki, those who came from heaven to earth, were manipulating events on earth, their power was limited and to a degree influenced by the beings in the higher 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th dimensions, who are higher level celestials/angels than the celestials who came on Nibiru. In fact, to our astounding discovery, both brotherhoods, dark and light, are influenced and controlled by the beings of the higher 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions by virtue of administrating the 7 rays into the lower dimensions down to the 3rd. It is from the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions where the Masters of Shambhala, Spiritual Planetary Council, administer events on Earth on behalf of the Great Blue Lodge known as the Syrian High Council, the outpost of the Great White Brotherhood Sisterhood in our galaxy, who serves the great central sun of our galaxy, Kolob, Ophiuchus, Zolkine, the center and throne of our galactic council. So in truth, both factions, good and evil, whether it is 5th, fourth density humanoids, gods, or ascending organic man on the third density earth plane are being ethereally manipulated by the higher authorities or the space commands of the higher evolution, all serving under the direction of Lord Michael. This perhaps explains why light is always going to prevail, since all reality is orchestrated and influenced by the higher dimensions. Evil is only an illusion that manifests on the lower dimensions to provide greater growth in the higher dimensions. When the ascension process occurs, this duality then becomes complementary and polarized even in the lower dimensions, thus manifesting the one true reality known as the singularity, the true meaning of monotheism, for we are all one. And when we return, my friends and family, we will pick it up at chapter 13, when kingship was lowered from heaven, Nibiru, to earth. We leave you in the love, the unity, and the light of the infinite Creator. Until then, my beautiful friends and family.